Good morning, students. So in the previous class we have studied about the stationary waves and what are stationary waves and characteristics of stationary waves also we have studied. So now next part, so the difference between progressive wave and stationary wave. So we have already studied progressive wave in the offline class. In the classroom we have studied about the progressive waves completely and we have derived the equation of progressive wave also. And now the difference between a progressive wave and a stationary wave. So by understanding this difference you can understand more about the concept of stationary waves. Okay, see here. So first one, the disturbance travel forward. In a progressive wave the disturbance travel forward, whereas in a stationary wave the disturbance does not travel at all. That's why it is called as stationary wave. Stationary wave means disturbance does not travel, or wave does not travel at all, either on the right side nor on the left side. So next, second point, energy is transferred along the wave. In a progressive wave energy is transferred along the wave. We have already studied in the progressive wave. And in a stationary wave there is no transfer of energy along the wave. That is, disturbance is not transferred along the wave, then there is no transfer of energy along the wave. So but actually in the stationary wave what happens, in one segment the energy is transferred to the right as well as energy is transferred to the left. As a result, the net energy transferred becomes zero. So therefore we say that there is no transfer of energy along the wave. Understood? So third point, the phase of the particles of the medium continuously varies. The phase of particles of the medium continuously varies. In a progressive wave, all the particles will not have the same phase. The phase of the particles of the medium will be different at a different instant, because the wave reaches the different particles at different instant. We have studied in the progressive wave. So here in a stationary wave, the phase of all the particles between two nodes is always the same. The phase of all the particles between the two nodes is always same and is opposite to those of the particles between the consecutive set of nodes. That is, if this is a stationary wave, so this is a one node and this is another node and this is another node. So between these two nodes the phase of all the particles will be same. The phase of all the particles lying between these two nodes will be same, and the phase of all the particles lying between these two nodes will be also same, but the phase of these particles and these particles will not be same. Understood? It is that we have studied during the study of characteristics of stationary wave. See our third point once again, the phase of the particles of the medium continuously varies in the case of progressive wave, whereas in the case of stationary wave the phase of all the particles between two nodes, is always same and is opposite to those of the particles between the consecutive set of nodes. This is one set of node, this is another set of node. So now the phase of all these particles in the second set of node will be opposite to phase of all the particles in the first set of node, which we have already studied while studying the characteristics of progressive wave. Next, fourth difference, in the progressive wave no particle of the medium is permanently at rest. When a progressive wave propagates through the medium, so no particle of the medium is permanently at rest. But in a stationary wave, the particles of the medium at the nodes are permanently at rest. The particles of the medium at the nodes are permanently at rest. The particles of the medium which are at the nodes will be permanently at rest in the case of stationary wave. Next, fifth point, the amplitude of different particles of the medium is same. The amplitude of different particles of the medium is same in the case of progressive wave. That is, the maximum displacement of the particles of the medium the maximum displacement of the particles of the medium in the case of progressive wave will be same, But in the case of stationary wave, the amplitude of the particles between the consecutive nodes and antinodes varies progressively. That is, the amplitude of the particles between the node and antinode. This is called antinode. This is called antinode. This is node. The amplitude of the particle between a node and antinode will varies progressively. That is, the amplitude of the particle at the node will be 0, and as the position of the particle is away from the node and towards the antinode, the amplitude of the particle will be more. At the antinode, the amplitude of the particle will be maximum. At the node, the amplitude of the particle will be 0. In the case of stationary wave, that is the amplitude of the particles between the consecutive nodes and antinodes. The amplitude of the particles between the nodes and antinodes varies progressively. Understood? Okay. Next point, sixth one. All particles do not cross mean position simultaneously. In the case of progressive wave, all particles do not cross the mean position simultaneously. But in the case of stationary wave, all particles cross the mean position simultaneously, because all the particles have the same phase. All the particles have the same phase between the two nodes. So all the particles cross the mean position simultaneously. So in the case of stationary wave. And next, seventh point, all particles do not attain the maximum displacement simultaneously in the progressive wave. All the particles do not attain maximum displacement simultaneously in the case of progressive wave, whereas in the case of stationary wave, all particles attain the maximum displacement simultaneously. All the particles will attain the maximum displacement simultaneously in the case of stationary wave. So these all are some differences between the progressive wave and stationary wave. You can write still much more number of differences, no problem, this much is enough. So this question may be for 5 marks or maybe for 3 marks. If it is for 3 marks, minimum you have to write 3 points. 3 points here, 3 points here. So 1 point means on both of the side 1 point, then you will get 1 mark. On both of the side 1 more point, you will get 2 marks. On both the side 1 more point, you will get 3 marks. So 3 point progressive wave, 3 point in the stationary wave if it is for 3 marks. If it is for 5 marks, we have to write 5 points minimum. Minimum 5 points in progressive wave and minimum corresponding 5 points in stationary wave. 5 points in progressive wave and corresponding 5 points in a stationary wave. That is how we have to write this question. Understood? So this is the difference between the progressive wave and stationary wave. So this much is enough for the stationary wave. Actually this stationary wave is much more, but that all the things was has been removed in this year. So there is a 5 marks derivation in the case of stationary waves, but all those 5 marks derivation have been removed for this year. So that's why only what are stationary waves, what are their characters and the difference between the stationary wave and progressive wave. This much if you study, that is enough for the stationary waves. Understood? Okay. So now next concept. Next we study about the beats. Okay. So now let us understand the concept of beats. So what is beats? Here we are studying the applications of principle of superposition. So you know that in the previous video lecture I told about the principle of superposition, and the 3 applications are there. The principle of superposition can be used to understand the interference, to understand the stationary waves, and also to understand the beats. And we have studied interference and stationary waves, and now the third concept beats. So this is also from the principle of superposition only. Okay, see here, what are beats? When 2 sound waves of slightly different frequency, traveling in the same direction in the same medium superpose on each other. When 2 sound waves of slightly different frequency traveling in the same direction in the same medium superpose on each other, then the resultant intensity of the sound wave will rises and falls with time. the resultant intensity of the sound wave rises and falls with time, and this is called as beats. Here, when two sound waves, I am talking particularly about the sound waves, when two sound waves of slightly different frequency traveling in the same direction, in the same medium, superpose on each other or overlap on each other, then the resultant sound, there is a change in the intensity of the resultant sound. The intensity of the resultant sound increases and decreases, and this is called as beats. That is, the periodic variation in the intensity of the sound, the periodic variation in the intensity of the sound caused by the superposition of two sound waves of slightly different frequency is called as beats. I am telling the definition. Telling definition for beats. The variation in the intensity of the sound wave, the variation in the intensity of the sound caused by the superposition of two sound waves of slightly different frequency is called as beats. That is, when two sound waves of slightly different frequency superimpose on each other, then the intensity of the resultant wave rises and decreases, rises and falls, and this phenomenon is called as beats. That is, the rise and fall in the sound can also be called as waxing and waning. Can also be called as waxing and waning. That is, the rise in the sound, it can be called as waxing, and the fall in the sound can be called as waning. So this alternate waxing and waning heard is called as beats. That is, one rise and one fall. One rise and one fall, or two rise, one rise and one fall, and one more rise. That two together will forms one beat. That is, one rise and one fall in the sound, intensity of the sound is called beat, is called one beat. And the number of beats produced per second, the number of beats produced per second is called as beat frequency. The number of beats produced per second is called as beat frequency, or beat frequency is given by, or else beat frequency is also defined as the difference in the frequency of two superposing waves. Difference in the frequency of two superposing waves, or two superposing sound waves. The difference in the frequency of two superposing waves. The difference in the frequency, difference, we have to take only difference. The difference in the frequency of two superposing sound waves is also called as beat frequency, or number of beats heard per second, or the number of beats produced per second is also called as beat frequency. Understood? So now condition. So now condition for this beats to be heard. So what is the conditions for the observing these beats? So for the beats to be audible, the difference in the frequency of the two waves should be less than, should not exceed 10 hertz. The difference in the frequency of two sound waves should not be more than the 10 hertz. If the difference in the frequency of two superposing sound waves is greater than 10 hertz, then 10 beats will be heard per second. That is, 10 rise and fall in the sound waves will be heard, has to be heard per second. But due to the persistence of hearing, of our ears are not able to distinguish between two sounds. Our ears are not able to distinguish between two sounds if the time difference between them is 1/10th of the second. If the time difference between the two sound waves is less than 1/10th of the second, then our ears will not differentiate that two sound waves. So hence, we will not be able to hear as two different frequencies or two different frequency sounds. So we will be hearing it as only one sound. So hence, the condition is that the difference in the frequency of the two superposing waves should be should not be exceeded more than 10 hertz. That is, the difference in the frequency of the two sounds must be less than the 10 hertz, then only the beats can be heard. Understood? Because of persistence of hearing. Persistence of hearing, it is our ear can differentiate two sound waves or two sound intensities only if the difference in the time is 1/10th of the second, less than 1/10th of the second. So if it is more than 1/10th of the second, then we will not be able to distinguish that as two different sounds. We will be able to hear them as one sound. So that's why the condition is that the difference in the frequency must be not to be more than 10 hertz. Understood? So now next, graphical representation. Let us understand by drawing the diagram, graphical representation of this beats. Let us say this is one sound wave. This is one sound wave, that is the displacement time graph of a sound wave. Displacement time graph of one sound wave, and this is another displacement time graph of another sound wave. These two are two sound waves traveling in the same direction and they have slightly different frequency, and these two sound waves overlap on each other. Overlap, that is superimpose on each other. So when they superimpose on each other, the resultant sound produced will be like this. So I will understand this one. So at the time interval t1 second, at the time interval t1 second, see here both these waves are in phase. See here both these waves are in phase at the time t1 second, hence the maximum amplitude, that is maximum intensity of the sound is heard. That is, intensity of the sound is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. Remember that intensity of the sound or intensity is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. So amplitude will be maximum when both the waves are in phase. When both the waves are in phase, so these two waves at the time interval t1 second, both are in phase, so maximum amplitude, so maximum intensity will be heard at the time t1 second. At the time t1 second in the resultant wave. And now, as these two waves superpose, there will be a phase difference. So that is, phase difference will goes on changes. As the time changes, the phase difference between the two waves will also goes on changes. And at the time t2 second, we observe that both the waves are out of phase. Both the waves are exactly out of phase. That is opposite in phase. Hence, at the time t2 second, the minimum intensity, that is the amplitude of the resultant wave becomes minimum. The amplitude of the resultant wave becomes minimum because at the time t2 second, both the waves are out of phase. But at the time t1 second, both the waves are in phase. So therefore maximum amplitude and maximum sound is heard at the time t1. And at the time t2, both the waves are out of phase. This is in the upward positive direction and this is in the negative direction. Understood? So they are out of phase. So here the minimum amplitude, so the intensity of the sound heard will be minimum. That is, here a waxing is heard and here a waning is heard. And next, and as overlapping is continuous, so there will be some more difference in the phase. So at the time t3, at the time instant t3, the phase difference, both the waves once again arrive in phase. Both the waves, this sound wave and this sound wave, both the waves are arriving in a phase. Hence, amplitude will becomes maximum and sound will becomes maximum at the point t3. And next, further at the point t4, once again both the waves are out of phase, so a minimum sound is observed. So this is how the resultant sound is observed. So here maximum sound, here minimum sound, here maximum sound, here minimum sound. So like this, so you can understand. This is beats. So rise and fall in the intensity of the sound. Once again I will tell what is beats. That is the variation, the periodic variation in the intensity of the sound. The periodic variation in the intensity of the sound caused by the superposition of two sound waves of slightly different frequency traveling in the same direction is called as beats. So there is a periodic rise and fall in the intensity of the sound, and this is called beats. Understood? So now this the time difference between T1 and T3, the time difference between T1 and T3 is called as beat period, is called as beat period. The time difference between the T1 and T3 can be called as beat period. So in one beat period, one beat is heard. In one beat period, one beat is heard. That is, so let us say the frequency of one source will be, the frequency of one source heard will be f plus 1, and the frequency of another source will be f. So then the beat frequency is the difference in the frequency. The beat frequency is the difference in the frequency. Understood? So that is how you can understand. So I hope you got the idea. So this is graphical representation of beats. Understood? So now let us understand the applications. The applications of the beats. So what are the applications of the beats? So now applications. Applications of beats, determination of unknown frequency. Let us find. So first application, the applications of this knowledge of beats, determination of unknown frequency. By using the knowledge of beats, we can find the unknown frequency of a tuning fork. Let us consider two tuning forks. So you have seen the tuning forks in the lab. So let us consider two tuning forks. Let us say one tuning fork as A and another tuning fork as B. And the one of the tuning fork is having a known frequency. Known frequency. This is having a known frequency. Let us say F1 is known. And this is having a unknown frequency. Unknown frequency. That is frequency of the second tuning fork is unknown. And we have to find. And now these two tuning forks are stuck together. When these two tuning forks are stuck together, that is sounded, and they are hit to the rubber pad, and the sound waves are produced, and that sound waves will overlap on each other, and the beats are produced. So if n is the number of beats produced, if n is the number of beats produced when the waves, when the sound waves from these two tuning fork overlap on each other, then unknown frequency is given by, f2 is equal to f1 plus n, or f2 is equal to f1 minus n. See here, we have considered two tuning fork. One of the tuning fork is having a known frequency f1, and another tuning fork is having a unknown frequency. Let us say it is f2. So it is unknown frequency, and both of the tuning forks are sounded together, and the sound waves from both of the tuning forks overlap on each other, and the beats are produced. If n is the number of beats heard, if n is the number of beats heard or number of beats produced per second, then the unknown frequency is given by, f2 is equal to f1 plus n, or f2 is equal to f1 minus n. And exact formula we can find by using two methods. So first method it is loading. The first method is loading. Let us say first method. In the first method, so let us load a small bit of wax. A small amount of wax is loaded on the one of the tuning fork of unknown frequency. This was a tuning fork of unknown frequency, and one of the forks of this tuning fork is added with a wax. Then as a result, the mass will increases and the frequency of the tuning fork will decreases. And now they are sounded together. Now they are stuck together, and the beats are heard. So if beats are increased, that is, if the beats are increased, that is, if the beats are greater than n, then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 minus n. So that is case number 1. Let us say this as case number 1. So on adding the wax, if the beats are increased, on adding the wax, if the beats are increased, then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 minus 1. And case number 2, on adding the wax, if beats are decreased, that is beats are less than n, that is n was the number of beats before adding the wax. So now after adding the wax, if the number of beats is less than n, then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 plus n. So this is the formula. So this formula we have to use when the beats are decreased. After adding the wax, if the beats are decreased, then unknown frequency will be greater than the known frequency. If the beats are increased after adding the wax, then unknown frequency will be less than the known frequency. Unknown frequency will be less than the known frequency. Understood? This is one method. And second method is piling. So let us say piling. So piling the one of the tuning fork. Piling means, let us say the unknown tuning fork, that is the tuning fork B. The mass of the tuning fork B is decreased. The mass of the tuning fork B is decreased. That is piling means, let us say it is removed. Some mass is removed from the unknown tuning fork. From the tuning fork of unknown frequency. Then they are stuck together, they are sounded together. So if beat, case number 1, if beats are increased, after piling, that is greater than n, then unknown frequency is f2 is equal to f1 plus n. And case number 2, if beats are decreased, on piling means its mass is decreased, that is less than n, the number of beats produced is less than n, then unknown frequency will be less than the known frequency. See here, this is a different method, this is completely a different method, and this is completely a different method. Any one method is enough. Just for your understanding, I am telling both the method. See here, first we take two tuning forks. One tuning fork is known frequency, another tuning fork is of unknown frequency, and they are sounded together. Then the number of beats heard is n. Then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 plus n or f2 is equal to f1 minus n. And there are two methods, exact formula. That is first method, loading. That is, let us say the one of the forks of the unknown frequency tuning fork is loaded with a small wax. Then if beats are increased, so that is after adding the wax, if the number of beats are increased, that is more than the number of beats heard initially, then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 minus n. If on adding the wax, if beats are decreased, that is number of beats are less than n, then the unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 plus n. This is after adding the wax. This is one method. Okay. So now leave this method. And second method, in the second method we are not adding the wax. We are removing some amount of mass from the tuning fork of unknown frequency. That is piling. We call this as piling method. So that is the tuning fork of unknown frequency is piled. Then as a result mass will decrease and the frequency will increase. So if that two tuning forks are sounded together, so if beats are increased after piling, then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 plus n. If beats are decreased after filing, if the beats are decreased, then unknown frequency is given by f2 is equal to f1 minus n. Understood? So this is one of the way to determine the unknown frequency of a tuning fork. Understood? So this is a little bit confusing. Don't get confused. You remember any one method. Either you remember this method or you remember this method. It will be enough in the exam. But it is better to remember both. While solving the numericals, both will be useful. Understood? So this is one of the application of beats. So that is, beats are used to determine the unknown frequency of a tuning fork. Understood? And next, second application, these beats are also used in tuning the musical instruments. Tuning the musical instruments. So different type of musical instruments are sounded together. We know that during a music show, there will be different type of musical instrument, tabla, sitar, guitar, surat, something will be there, and they are sounded together. If there is beats are produced, then that sound heard will not be clear. So they have to be tuned so that till the beats disappear. That is, before starting a musical instrument, they will make some sounds, so and they will adjust that length of the wires or something, so that they are tuning the instruments to a frequency, to a common frequency of all the instruments, so that the beats are removed. So when the beats are removed, then all the instruments will work in a proper alignment. So that is, so in tuning the musical instruments, these beats are used, and beats are also used in determining the dangerous gases in the mines. That is, poisonous gas in the mines. Gas in the mine can be determined by using the concept of beats. Let us say, so we will take two pipes, two organ pipes. That is, two pipes having one of the pipe is having a air medium. That is, one of the pipe is having air medium, and another pipe. This is another pipe. So two pipes are taken, two organ pipes are taken. Let us say this is mine. Sumka, just for your understanding, this is the mine, and one of the pipe is inserted, and in this pipe there is only air medium, that is dry air is there, and if in the, this is input and this is output, that is the air in the mine, whatever the gas is there in the mine, that gas is there in this pipe. This is the second pipe, this is the first pipe. In the first pipe it is always dry air. In the second pipe, the gas which is present in the mine, that gas will be there. So if the beats are heard, then it is understood that the gas in the second pipe is not air medium. The gas in the second pipe is not air medium, because that gas will have different density. This gas will have different density, different frequency, so the beats will be heard. So they will conclude that the gas in the mine is not air, it may be some other gas like methane, carbon or anything else. So if beats are not heard, if the beats are not heard, then the gas in the mine will be also the air. That is, in the second pipe is also having the air as the gas, then beats will not be heard. Understood? So it is to determine the unknown gas in the mine. This concept of beats is used, and the concept of beats is also used in electronics. It is also used in electronics to get the low frequency oscillators. That is, it is difficult to get the low frequency oscillators in an electronic equipment. These low frequency oscillators are obtained by using two high frequencies, and the beat frequency is taken as, that is, beat frequency, we know that beat frequency is equal to F1 minus F2. So two frequencies, two high frequencies are taken. Let us say one is 480 Hertz and one is 485 Hertz. So two high frequencies are taken, and the difference between these two will come to be 5 Hertz. So this is a low frequency oscillator, and this low frequency oscillator is obtained by using the concept of beat frequency. So in the electronics, so the low frequency oscillator is obtained by the concept of beats. So these all are the applications of beats. Understood? So first one application is the beats are used in the determination of unknown frequency. The unknown frequency of a tuning fork can be determined by using the concept of beats. I told two methods. One is loading the wax, and another method is piling the tuning fork of unknown frequency. And next the tuning of musical instruments. The knowledge of beats is used in tuning the musical instruments. And the knowledge of beats can also be used to determine the unknown gas inside the mines. Unknown gas inside the mines, whether it is air or whether it is any toxic gas, that can be determined by using the concept of beats. And by using the concept of beats, we can also understand, or we can also obtain the low frequency oscillator in electronics. In electronics, it's difficult to get the low frequency oscillator. So low frequency oscillator is obtained by taking two high frequencies, the beat frequency of two high frequencies. So that will serve the required low frequency oscillator as a required low frequency. So these all are the some applications of beats. So this much is enough for the concept of beats. So this completes the chapter. The theory parts of the waves chapter is completed. See here. In the online classes, we have covered the principle of superposition of waves and the applications of principle of superposition of waves, that is interference, stationary waves and beats. So in this, the stationary waves and beats are more important in the first year. Understood? For the first year syllabus, and this much is there in the first year syllabus of this year. So this much is enough. So in the next video, we will solve some numericals. We will solve some numericals of the waves chapter. Understood? So we will solve different numericals on the chapter of waves. Okay. So this much is the theory part.